So I'm Fiona Burnett from Scotland's Rural College, where I'm Arable Knowledge Lead, and we've been here at the Arable Roadshows today. I've been talking about optimising fungicides and IPM. So really the key things there is to pick the best of the available chemistry, and there's new options this year. And it's to use the IPM planning tools that are now available as best you can. So use the preventative and planning measures there to really reduce your disease risk and get the best margins from your fungicides. And you can see resources on the Farm Advisory Service website and on the AHDB website if you just Google IPM.
I'm Helen Plant, Senior Market Analyst for AHDB. We're at the Scottish Agronomy Roadshow in Lauder. Right now, global grain markets have been edging up recently. Some of that comes from smaller crops being expected around the world, but the gains are being held back by worries about demand, about global economic growth and what may happen with some of the macroeconomic and macro-political events around the world. We're going to need to be watching as we go forward to see how those unfold and what happens. And I think this is probably a year to be watching markets more closely just because of the levels of uncertainty that are out there. So closer to home, we've got larger barley crops in Scotland. Unfortunately, demand's off to a slow start this season. We're seeing lower premiums too. So that demand levels is something we're going to have to watch as well. And when we look ahead to harvest 25, with larger areas expected to go in the ground in Scotland, but lower in England, it also gives us some notable watch points. And as always, there's plenty of information on AHDB's website if you head to ahdb.org.uk and click on Markets and Prices.
Hi there, I'm Steve Ho from Scotland's Rural College, and today I've been presenting the new Scottish recommended list. Yeah, the key points is that in the list across the cereals, we're trying to match much more closely improvements in agronomy with the end use of the grains. I think the key thing from the presentation is for growers to match the new agronomic traits to the way that they grow the crops, because that will improve the chances of meeting the market spec.
Hi, so I'm Dr. Robin Walker, based at SRUC at Craibston's campus in Aberdeen. I've been talking about pulses or opportunities for pulses in Scotland, and there's several things that would be particularly useful about these. One is an alternative break crop between cereals, for example, and trying to increase diversity of your crop rotation. There's a knock-on effect of being able to have nitrogen fixation from these crops, which can benefit the rotation as a whole. And also, because they're protein rich, it's an alternative to bought-in soya and the external markets linked to buying in soya as a protein for cattle, for example.
Hello, I'm Dr. Lorna Cole from SAC Consulting, and today we are diving into the world of natural enemies. These measures are targeted towards biodiversity, but we may see unintended consequences. For example, minimum tillage may increase soil pests. So we need to stay ahead of any potential adverse impacts. So key to this is monitoring at the farm and country level, and through monitoring we have an early surveillance system. We can detect any issues before they become a real economic problem. So key resources, the Farm Advisory website provides a lot of information on how to promote natural enemies, and the AHDB's Encyclopedia of Natural Enemies and Pests can help you identify them.
Hi, I'm Dr. Christina Grens, and I'm here at Carfree Mill in the Scottish Borders, and I've been presenting today on mycotoxins and contaminants. So 3 key points would be monitor, monitor, monitor. Monitoring is absolutely vital for knowing what the risk is of contaminants in your crop and how you can best plan ahead to deal with those issues, whether that's going to colour sort out your ergot or whether you need to send your grain to testing for any potential mycotoxin contaminants. I'd like to make people aware of another exciting project we have looking at oat mycotoxins produced by Fusarium lanxethii, which is T2 and HT2. This is a really exciting project looking at recommended list oat varieties and what the risk is of contaminant mycotoxin presence in these varieties.
Hi, I'm Stephen Thompson, and I work for Scotland's Rural College, where I'm a Professor of Agricultural Economics and Policy. So I'm here today to talk about the progress that the Scottish Government are making towards evolving the agricultural policy in Scotland from a cropping perspective. And I suppose the key points from today are that the budget is not increasing. In real terms, farmers have had to endure pretty high inflationary periods, yet the expectation from the government and from society is that farmers have to deliver more societal benefit, environmental benefits, which will be with regards to biodiversity and or climate change. So what I'm talking about today is a bit about the evolution of the greening principles that the Common Agricultural Policy had. And within that, the Scottish Government are looking at how do we evolve the ecological focus area principles to extend the area that is doing environmental positive actions, but also to maybe how they're going to extend that into other forms of agriculture such as livestock and grassland systems. And one of the best places to catch up with what the government are doing is there's a website that the government have called the Agricultural Reform Programme. If you look that up, it takes you to their resource where they release information on what their next policy proposals are. Alternatively, the Farm Advisory Service for Scotland has updates, as do various other resources such as the National Farmers for Union of Scotland.